Have you ever stood up from your chair and felt your legs tremble as if they could no longer carry your weight? Many of my patients over the age of 60 tell me the same story. Doctor, I feel weaker every month, but I thought this was just normal aging. Here's the truth. What you may call just aging is often something far more dangerous. It is a silent condition called sarcopenia, the medical name for muscle loss, and it is stealing independence from millions of older Americans every single day. According to the National Institute on Aging, nearly 1 in 3 people over the age of 70 suffer significant muscle weakness that puts them at risk of falling, using a walker, or even being confined to bed. But let me be very clear. Weakness is not destiny. You are not doomed to a life of immobility. With the right knowledge, the right daily habits, and a little guidance from science, you can fight back. In this video, I will show you the hidden triggers of muscle decline, the shocking mistakes most seniors make, and the surprising hope that may come from something as simple as the peel of an apple or the green flesh of a tomato. Stay with me, because midway through I will reveal the biggest mistake I've seen in 50 years of practice and how you can avoid it starting tomorrow morning. If you've ever felt weaker than before, leave a number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I want to hear your story. Number 1. The hidden truth about muscle loss after 60. Most seniors in America believe weakness is just part of aging. They tell me, "Doctor, I move more slowly because I'm getting older." But in reality, what they are experiencing often has a name: sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. According to the National Institute on Aging, nearly 1 out of every 3 Americans over 70 years old faces severe muscle weakness. That is not just numbers on a chart. It means millions of people can no longer lift grocery bags, rise from a chair without pushing on both arms, or walk 1 block without resting. The Washington Post once reported that falls are now one of the leading causes of injury-related death in adults over 65. Behind many of those falls is silent muscle decline. Why does this happen? With age, the body slowly loses its ability to repair and rebuild muscle fibers. Hormones like testosterone and growth factors decline. Daily activity becomes less intense. And slowly, silently, the muscles shrink. This catabolic state doesn't happen overnight. It steals strength month by month until a person finds themselves relying on a cane, a walker, or even being stuck in bed. Here is the critical point. Losing muscle is not just about losing strength. It is about losing independence. When your legs cannot hold you steady, you lose the freedom to cook, to drive, even to walk into your bathroom safely. In my 50 years as a physician, I have seen strong men reduced to wheelchairs not because of heart attacks or strokes, but because their legs could no longer support them. But there is hope. Science shows us that lifestyle choices, nutrition, and in some cases discoveries like compounds from apple peel or green tomatoes can help protect muscle. You are not powerless. You can fight back. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed your grip getting weaker or your steps slowing down? If yes, write yes in the comments. If not, write no. I want to know how many of you feel these early signs. Number 2, the secret is inside the apple peel and green tomatoes. When most people think about staying strong, they imagine lifting weights or drinking protein shakes. Very few think about the humble apple or the green tomato sitting quietly in their kitchen. Yet scientists at the University of Iowa discovered something remarkable hiding in these everyday foods. Inside the skin of an apple is a natural compound called ursolic acid. And inside the flesh of an unripe green tomato is another called tomatidine. These names may sound technical, but their effect is simple to understand. In laboratory studies, when elderly mice were given diets containing these compounds, their muscles responded stunningly. Over just 2 months, the mice increased their muscle mass by about 10% and their muscle strength by about 30%. To put that into perspective, if a man weighing 160 pounds lost 10% of his muscle to aging, he might struggle to lift a simple 20-pound grocery bag. Restoring that 10% could mean the difference between needing help for every errand or walking proudly with independence. And a 30% jump in strength could mean walking up a flight of stairs without clutching the handrail in fear. Why does this happen? The researchers found that both ursolic acid and tomatidine switched off a harmful genetic program inside aging muscles. This program, driven by a factor called ATF4, acts like a silent switch that makes muscles weaker with age. By turning that switch off, the compounds allowed the muscles to function more like those of a younger adult. Now, I want to be clear. This research was done in mice, not in humans. You will not find a pill at your pharmacy that safely delivers these compounds today. But the principle is powerful. It shows that muscle loss is not just wear and tear. It is a process that science can understand and potentially reverse. This gives us something rare in medicine: hope. Imagine if in the future seniors could keep the strength of their 40s well into their 70s or 80s. Imagine fewer walkers, fewer nursing homes, and more grandparents running after grandchildren in the yard. That is the promise hidden inside an apple peel and a green tomato. Question for you. If science proved tomorrow that a simple food could restore your strength, would you change your diet immediately? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious how ready you are to fight muscle loss with food. Number 3, ATF4, the silent switch inside aging muscles. When my patients ask me, "Doctor, why do my legs feel weaker every year even though I'm eating and moving the same?" The answer is not just about food or exercise. It goes much deeper, down to the level of your genes. Inside every muscle cell is a genetic program that controls how the muscle responds to stress, aging, and repair. One of the key players is something called ATF4. You don't need to remember the name, but you should remember what it does. ATF4 acts like a silent switch that tells your muscles to shrink and weaken as you get older. Scientists discovered that in aging muscle, ATF4 turns on a group of genes that block protein building and slow down recovery. Imagine having a construction crew inside your body that suddenly goes on strike. The materials are there, your protein, your nutrients, but the workers refuse to build. That is what ATF4 does. Here's where it gets exciting. In those same University of Iowa studies, when elderly mice were given ursolic acid or tomatidine, ATF4 was turned down. The genetic strike was lifted. Suddenly, the muscles could rebuild and regain strength, almost as if the aging clock had been rolled back. The mice without ATF4 function in their muscles showed the same benefit. They resisted weakness even as they grew older. Now let's connect this to daily life. Think of a grandfather who can no longer stand up from a low couch without help. After years of ATF4 silently working against him, his muscles simply don't respond. But if we can control that switch through nutrition, lifestyle, or future therapies, he could stand tall again. That's not science fiction. That's science in motion. The lesson here is profound. Aging is not just about wear and tear. It's about hidden biological switches that either break you down or help you rebuild. And the choices you make every day, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, can influence these switches. Let me ask you, do you believe aging is something we must simply accept? Or do you believe it can be challenged with the right knowledge? Share your thoughts below. I want to hear if you are ready to fight for stronger muscles no matter your age. Number 5, 50 years of lessons from the clinic. After half a century of caring for older adults, I can tell you this: muscle loss does not discriminate. It affects men and women, rich and poor, city dwellers and farmers. But I have also seen, time and again, that the story does not have to end in weakness. I remember a gentleman in his late 70s. He had been a factory worker his entire life, strong as steel, but after retirement, he became sedentary. Within 5 years, he could barely stand without pushing on the arms of his chair. His daughter brought him to me, fearing he would soon need a nursing home. We worked together on 2 things: more protein in his meals and a daily routine of chair stands and light weights. 6 months later, he walked into my office without his cane. His smile said it all. He had taken his independence back. Then there was a woman in her 80s, a retired school teacher. She told me she had always been too delicate for exercise. But her real challenge was fear. She believed moving more might cause her to fall. I guided her through gentle resistance band exercises, beginning with just 5 minutes a day. Slowly, her confidence grew. 1 year later, she proudly told me she could pick up her great-grandchild without trembling arms. Not every story is of success. I have also treated people who ignored the warning signs. One man insisted he was too old to change. Within 2 years, he was confined to a wheelchair, not because of heart disease or a stroke, but simply because his muscles had wasted away. That is a painful lesson I never want you to experience. Here's what these decades have taught me. Your body, even at 70 or 80, is still capable of change. Muscles are like loyal friends. They will respond if you give them attention. It is never too late, but the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. I want to ask you directly, do you know someone, maybe a parent, spouse, or neighbor, who regained strength later in life? Or someone who gave up too soon? Share that story in the comments. Your words could inspire another viewer to take the first step today. Number 6, simple and safe solutions you can start today. After 50 years in medicine, I've learned that the best treatments are not always found in a pill bottle. They're found in daily choices. What you eat, how you move, and the habits you practice when no one is watching. The first step is nutrition. Muscles are built from protein, and older adults often don't get enough. Aim to include a source of protein in every meal: chicken, fish, beans, eggs, or even Greek yogurt. Harvard Health Publishing recommends that older adults get at least 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. For a person weighing 160 pounds, that means about 73 grams of protein. That's roughly the protein in a chicken breast, a cup of beans, and a few eggs combined. Spread it throughout the day, because your muscles can only use so much at once. The second step is resistance exercise. You don't need a gym membership or heavy weights. Start with chair stands. Sit down, then rise up without using your arms 10 times. Add light dumbbells or resistance bands as you improve. Even 5 minutes a day signals your body to protect and rebuild muscle fibers. Think of it as telling your muscles, I still need you, stay strong. The third step is recovery. Many seniors underestimate the power of sleep. When you rest, your body repairs muscle tissue. Without at least 7 hours of good sleep, your efforts in exercise and nutrition are wasted. Hydration also matters. Dehydrated muscles cramp more easily and recover more slowly. Keep a glass of water by your side throughout the day. Finally, make these habits enjoyable. Exercise while listening to your favorite music. Cook protein-rich meals with family. Turn routines into rituals of health. Here's my challenge for you. Today, try 1 chair stand, just 1. Then come back and tell me in the comments how it felt. If it were easy, do 5 tomorrow. If it was hard, celebrate that you started. Progress begins with a single choice, and that choice belongs to you. Number 7, hope from science, but with caution. Every time a discovery makes the headlines, I observe 2 distinct reactions in my patients. Some rush to buy every supplement on the shelf, convinced it will be a miracle cure. Others shrug and say, that's only for the lab, it will never help me. The truth, as always, is in the middle. The studies on apple peel and green tomatoes are exciting. Seeing elderly mice regain 10% of their muscle and 30% of their strength gives us real hope. It tells us that muscle loss is not simply a downhill slide we must accept. Instead, it is a process with switches, like ATF4, that can be influenced. That is powerful. But here's where we need caution. These studies were done on animals, not people. Our bodies are far more complex than a laboratory mouse. What works in the lab may not always translate directly to your dinner plate. If you see a supplement claiming to reverse aging overnight with ursolic acid or tomatidine, be skeptical. The Food and Drug Administration does not regulate supplements the same way it regulates medications. That means what you buy online may not even contain the compound it advertises. Instead of chasing unproven pills, start with food. Eating apples with the skin on and adding tomatoes to your meals is safe, nourishing, and proven to benefit your overall health. You will not get lab-level doses of these compounds, but you will get fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that support your body in countless other ways. Think of it as stacking small wins every day. And here is the hopeful part. Science is moving fast. The fact that we now know about ATF4 and its role in sarcopenia means researchers can design targeted therapies in the future. Imagine a treatment that allows you to keep climbing stairs, cooking, and living independently well into your 80s or 90s. That is no longer just a dream, it is a direction. For now, you have power in your own hands. The choices you make each day, more protein, simple resistance exercises, quality sleep, hydration, and whole foods are your medicine. Combine that with a watchful eye on new research, and you position yourself not as a victim of aging, but as an active participant in your health. I want to hear from you. Do you feel hopeful when you hear about discoveries like these? Or do you feel skeptical? Leave a comment below and tell me your honest reaction. Your voice matters, and it may encourage someone else who feels uncertain. Number 8, the future of aging and muscle health. When I first became a doctor, the idea that we could slow or even reverse muscle loss in older adults sounded impossible. Back then, most people assumed weakness was an unavoidable part of aging. But today, science is proving otherwise. We now understand that sarcopenia is not just wear and tear. It is a biological process with triggers, switches, and opportunities for intervention. One of the most promising directions is gene-focused therapy. By studying ATF4, scientists have uncovered a master switch that drives muscle decline. In the future, medications may be able to safely dial down ATF4 activity in humans, the same way Ursolic acid and Tomatidine did in mice. Imagine treatments that restore strength to someone in their 70s, allowing them to move like they are 50 again. Another direction is precision nutrition. Research from Tufts University has shown that older adults with higher protein intake and better vitamin D levels maintain stronger muscles and fewer falls. In the future, your doctor may use a blood test and give you a personalized nutrition plan designed specifically to protect your muscles, not just your heart or bones. Technology will also play a role. Devices that track your daily steps, grip strength, and even muscle quality are becoming more affordable. Picture a watch that not only tells time, but also warns you when your muscle strength is slipping, long before you feel it yourself. Early warning means early action, and early action saves independence. But let me emphasize this. The future of muscle health is not just in laboratories and hospitals. It is in kitchens, living rooms, and backyards. Every time you cook a protein-rich meal, stretch in the morning, or choose to stand up and sit down 5 times instead of staying seated, you are shaping your future strength. The science is exciting, but your daily habits remain the most powerful medicine. Here's what I want you to remember. The future is not about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. Strong muscles mean more freedom, fewer falls, less fear, and more joy. That is the true promise of these discoveries. Let's dream together. If you could regain the muscle strength of your 40s, what would be the first thing you'd do? Would you dance, travel, garden, or play with your grandchildren? Share it in the comments. I want to know what living strong means to you. Number 9, living well is a daily choice. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in 50 years of medicine is this. Aging is not only about what happens to your body, it is about the choices you make every single day. Too many people believe that decline is inevitable. They say, "Doctor, I'm old, so of course I'm weak." But that is not the whole truth. Yes, we cannot stop the calendar from turning, but we can decide how we respond to each new day. Muscle loss may begin with biology, but its outcome is shaped by behavior. Every choice adds up. When you choose a protein-rich breakfast instead of just toast and coffee, you are telling your muscles, "I still need you." When you choose to stand up and sit down 5 times instead of staying seated, you are sending a message to your legs, "Stay strong." When you choose to go to bed an hour earlier instead of staying up in front of the television, you are giving your body the recovery it needs to repair. It doesn't take dramatic change. It takes daily discipline. Think of it like saving money. $1 a day doesn't feel like much, but over years it builds into something powerful. 1 chair stand, 1 glass of water, 1 extra egg at breakfast. Over weeks and months, those choices can mean the difference between walking proudly or depending on a walker. I've seen men and women in their 70s regain the freedom to drive, garden, and travel simply because they committed to small daily actions. And I've seen others with the same age and the same potential lose their independence because they gave in to the idea that it doesn't matter anymore. It always matters. Here's the truth I want you to hold close. Living well is not a miracle. It is a choice, made over and over, day after day. You cannot control your age, but you can control your habits. And in the end, your habits will decide whether you live weak or live strong. I want to hear from you. What is one daily choice you are willing to start today? Just one that will make you stronger tomorrow. Share it in the comments. Your small step may inspire someone else's big change. Number 10, the emotional toll of losing muscle strength. When people think of muscle loss, they imagine weak legs, walkers, or canes. But in my 50 years of caring for older adults, I have seen something even more painful than physical weakness, the emotional weight it carries. I remember a proud man in his late 70s who had worked hard his entire life. He told me, "Doctor, the hardest part is not that I can't lift things. The hardest part is feeling useless in my own home." His body had weakened, but what truly broke him was the loss of dignity. Muscle loss doesn't just shrink the body, it shrinks confidence, independence, and identity. For many older adults, the fear of becoming a burden is overwhelming. I have heard countless patients whisper, "I don't want my children to take care of me." That fear can lead to isolation, sadness, even depression. And yet, when strength begins to return, when a patient stands tall again or walks without help, their spirit lifts like a heavy cloud breaking after a storm. We must understand this. Strong muscles are not only about physical power, they are about emotional freedom. When you can rise from a chair without help, you feel independent. When you can walk to the mailbox safely, you feel confident. When you can hold your grandchild in your arms without trembling, you feel alive. I want you to take a moment and reflect. Have you ever felt frustrated because your body couldn't do what your heart wanted? Have you seen a loved one lose confidence because their muscles gave way? Please share your story in the comments. Your words can heal, not only for you, but for others watching this who silently carry the same pain. Remember this, muscle strength is not just about living longer. It is about living with dignity, with freedom. And every step you take toward protecting your muscles is also a step toward protecting your spirit. Number 11, building a supportive community for stronger aging. One of the most important truths I have learned in 50 years of medicine is this: no one overcomes aging alone. Muscles do not grow stronger in isolation. They grow stronger in connection. When older adults feel supported, they thrive. I have seen it countless times. A woman in her 70s who was too embarrassed to exercise alone joined a small group at her church. With encouragement, laughter, and companionship, and she not only regained strength, but also regained joy. She told me, "Doctor, I come for the exercise, but I stay for the people." That sense of belonging kept her consistent far more than willpower ever could. Families also play a crucial role. I always encourage children and grandchildren to get involved. Cook protein-rich meals together. Take a short walk after dinner as a family. Invite grandparents to stretch or use resistance bands while you do your own workout. These small acts of togetherness turn health into a shared experience rather than a lonely struggle. Communities can also be built online. Many older adults now join virtual groups, sharing progress, struggles, and encouragement. When you post, "I did my 10 chair stands today," someone across the country might respond, "So did I." That connection, even through a screen, creates accountability and hope. Here's what I want you to remember. Muscle health is not just about the body, it is about spirit and connection. When you surround yourself with people who believe in you, you find the strength to believe in yourself. I want to invite you to take action right now. In the comments, tag a friend, a sibling, or even your son or daughter. Invite them to watch this video with you. Let them know you want their support on your journey to stay strong. Because this fight is not just about you, it's about staying strong for the people you love and letting them stay strong for you. Aging with strength is not a solo mission. It is a team effort. And when the team is strong, every member wins. As we come to the close of this journey, I want to leave you with a simple but powerful truth. You are not alone. Every week in my clinic, I see men and women in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who walk in with fear in their eyes. Fear of losing independence, fear of being a burden, fear of a body that no longer feels like their own. But I have also seen those same people walk out months later with renewed strength, brighter confidence, and a new sense of hope. Muscle loss or sarcopenia is not the end of your story. It is a chapter, and every chapter can be rewritten. You may not be able to change your age, but you can change your choices. Science tells us that your muscles are listening to you every day. When you feed them protein, when you challenge them with movement, when you rest and care for them, they respond. Even at 70, even at 80, even at 90, the body is still capable of renewal. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself 6 months from today. Instead of struggling to get up from a chair, you rise with confidence. Instead of holding a cane, you walk to the mailbox with steady legs. Instead of watching from the sidelines, you join your family in the kitchen, at the park, or even on a trip you thought you'd never take again. That picture is possible. I have witnessed it again and again, and I want you to believe it for yourself. And here's the most important part. You don't have to take this journey alone. Right here in this community, you have thousands of people walking the same path. By sharing your story, your struggles, and your victories, you can inspire others. And in return, their courage can fuel your own. So here is my invitation to you. Share in the comments one thought or feeling you have after watching this video. Maybe it's a memory of when you first noticed weakness. Maybe it's a commitment to try one chair stand today. Or maybe it's just a word of encouragement for others who are watching. Your voice matters, and your story might be the spark someone else desperately needs. If you found value in what we shared today, please subscribe to our channel, Dr. Muscles, so you never miss the tools, tips, and inspiration we bring to help you live strong at every age. Share this video with a friend or a family member. You never know whose life you may change with a simple click. And when you're ready to take the next step, I encourage you to watch our next video, 5 Ways to Prevent and Reverse Sarcopenia. In it, I'll break down practical, science-backed strategies you can use starting tomorrow morning to protect your muscles and restore your strength. Remember this, your age does not define your future. Your habits do. Choose wisely, choose daily, and you can live not just longer, but stronger.